Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, into the HeroesCCL pre-show. This is brought to you by Next Level Gaming. What is Next Level Gaming? Next Level Gaming is a Miami-based esports center where you can play Heroes the Storm among 400 other pre-installed games that are updated daily. Next Level Gaming is also a Blizzard Cafe, which gives you some extra rewards when you play over at this Miami-based esports center. You can get some extra experience on your account or play with all heroes unlocked. Next Level Gaming also has a wonderful computer option for you. It is an HP Omen with Intel i7 processors and RTX 3090 graphics cards. With such an amazing computer, you gotta have the best monitor as well. It's gonna have two options for you over at Next Level Gaming: a 24-inch monitor at 240 Hz or a 32-inch monitor at 144 Hz. Thank you once again, Next Level Gaming, for presenting this pre-show, and you can use nlg.gg/ccl in your web browser to find out more about our amazing sponsor. But of course, let's go ahead and start diving into our Week 2 pre-show clips. Let's go ahead and spring right into our first match from the weekend. We had 30k go up against Simplicity, and over on Sky Temple, things were looking all 30k here, Justing.
Yeah, 30k on Sky Temple once again, just counter-engaging. We have Simplicity trying to be aggressive here. Apto jumps in onto Kier, hits the Storm Bolt actually onto Madara, but continues forward with the Dahaka, diving onto the backline, onto the Rhaegar. Just slightly not enough damage between the two of them to take down Legacy, and he does have time to pop that Ancestral on himself. They turn onto the Dahaka, just a bit of an overcommitment from Simplicity, and now they're on the run. And we see there's a Cocoon onto the Brightwing. Soon will emerge a beautiful Butterfly, and immediately it is taken down by Liam and the rest of 30k. Porky gets his E, his dash on Genji interrupted as well. A huge stun with the level 20 from Cure onto the Lunara. And that's pretty much all she wrote for the side of 30k versus Simplicity. You've got Apto, the last man standing, the little dwarf who couldn't, and he goes down as well with a 3-0 for 30k.
Yeah, 30k would take that series in a 3-0 fashion, beating out Simplicity. And I gotta say, Justin, 30k every single week. And then we've only had 2 weeks of game so far, but 30k is looking insanely dominant here. But the dominations, the gameplay, it was not over for Week 2 of HeroesCCL. We saw Wildheart Esports go up against Oxygen, and this was a really fun matchup here, Justin. We actually have a couple clips from this series, and we'll go right back into Sky Temple, taking a look at what Wildheart did to Oxygen.
Yep, the clip begins as Wildheart is down 0-1 in the series at the start here. We have IB-Tings and Mason Blaze playing, just holding hands basically on the front line, doing tons of damage. You have an immediate cleanse and Ancestral onto IB-Tings as Hogger with Zergling gets the Shockwave onto the backline. A huge stun from him. Mason Blaze cleaning up the Anubarak as Uther was immediately taken out at the start of the fight. You have now just the front line, or the damage dealing coming out from the Greymane and the Tychus onto the front line, just shredding everyone who's in range. Haben, we heard in the comms during this moment that he's saying go, 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 while the rest of the team's trying to back off as they do secure that 2-0, which ends up getting them the shot advantage and basically allows them to secure their victory here in their game up against Oxygen.
Yeah, and honestly, that was a perfect moment to call out there, Justin, because Haben, as we were in the comms, we could actually hear everyone saying, let's back up, get shots, let's do this, like, let's do that, go for boss and all that, and you can hear Haben saying, go, 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 and in the interview, Zergling literally said, well, you know, the communication, obviously it's Korean to English and all that stuff, but Zergling said, if Haben says go, we go, and that was that turnaround moment that did solidify Sky Temple. But continuing our conversation about Wildheart versus Oxygen Esports, this Cursed Hollow map, I mean, Justin, it's such a great example of how well Wildheart is playing and how synergistic they are in this moment on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, this was something that I talked about as the clip begins. You have just tons of boss control for Oxygen, and Wildheart wants nothing to do with that. They don't want anything to do with the actual boss itself. Weary Day immediately makes himself the target, but you see Haben instantly peeling for the backline of that Malfurion, looking for a moment to engage. Wildheart Zergling super far forward here as the rest of Oxygen is kind of trying to retreat. You have Haben instantly jumping in onto the Rhaegar on the backline, hitting the Storm Bolt as the bouncing ball from IB-Tings on that Cassia ricocheting between the Hogger and the Rhaegar. Tyrael as well will fail to save them with the Sanctum go down. And we saw this in the highlight. Haben gets that stun on Hasu right as he's about to go over the wall, knowing that that's the perfect moment to do it. It's kind of a lose-lose situation for Hasu. He either gets to the wall and jumps over, but gets hit by the Storm Bolt, or just doesn't make it to the wall and dies. So it's really well played by Wildheart in that team fight.
And Wildheart would close out that series 3-1 against Oxygen, solidifying another victory in Heroes CCL Season 4. But of course, we still have Diamond Hands versus Storm Esports. We got a couple clips from this one as well. And Justing, so far in the season, this has been my favorite matchup. It went to a game number 5, and let's start things out on the Garden Terror map because, man, Genji has made some waves here in Heroes CCL Season 4, Justing.
Yeah, and in this clip, it's not in quite the way that you would be expecting it. So the clip begins with Storm desperate to find a fight, as it is plant point for the side of Diamond Hands. They have 2 out of 3 plants that they need to get the objective. And notice that Storm has no keeps available. And where is Genji? Genji is in the base, pushing all the waves. So this is kind of a checkmate situation for Storm, where Diamond Hands needs to get a fight right now, and or Storm needs to get a fight against Diamond Hands, and they know that. So Diamond Hands playing to stall while they allow the Genji to push the waves into their base. If they give this objective for Storm, and they give the plants over, they will absolutely lose the game to the objective from Diamond Hands. But if they don't go back and defend their base, they will lose the game to the Genji, which we see now. Gottfeld had managed to push in all the waves, so Diamond Hands creating a perfect checkmate situation and executing it perfectly, winning the game through proper macro and snowballing their advantage.
And that was kind of the motif of a lot of this matchup. There was a lot of really good micro coming out from the side of Storm Esports in their team fights, but Diamond Hands macro was God tier, S tier, S plus tier. It was just really, really good execution on a macro level and a slow burn as well from Diamond Hands. As we go back to Sky Temple once again, Diamond Hands, I mean, they really knew how to kind of close things out. They knew their win conditions seemingly here, Justing.
Yeah, as the clip begins, we have another macro win by Diamond Hands up against Storm in Game 5 of this very close match that we had. You have Diamond Hands invading the Knights, knowing that Storm is most likely going to need to do the boss if they want to have a chance back into this game, as they are down 2 keeps versus the 3 keeps available for the side of Diamond Hands on Sky. So they start the boss on Storm, but they realize that they're not just taking their Knights, they're also going for their core, and Diamond Hands immediately goes onto the core. The way that they position on the core is really nice as well. They know that the tornadoes will split them if they split too much. They'll start getting really bounced around. So they stay close enough together that they're within the inside of the tornadoes. They're not going to get cut off by the tornadoes. And then as soon as everyone spawns from Storm to come defend, that's when they split up so that they don't all get completely wombo comboed. So not only good macro here by Diamond Hands, but also just good execution on that core call.
And as you mentioned, that was game number 5, and Diamond Hands would solidify that victory up against Storm Esports. Another victory for Diamond Hands as well in Heroes CCL Season 4. Checking in our matches here on Heroes CCL May 21st, we've got Simplicity going up against Diamond Hands and Storm Esports up against Chili Mountain. Justing, I have a gut feeling that it's going to be Storm versus Chili Mountain as your standout matchup, but of course, what is the matchup you're most excited about for today?
I'm actually excited to see Diamond Hands because last week we saw them have a lot of impressive macro play, and I'm really curious to see whether that'll carry through into their match against Simplicity. Simplicity has been struggling a bit, and I'm also interested to see kind of what changes they're going to be making, as they already made a big roster change with the role swap from week 1 to week 2. I want to see what they change going into week 3 against Diamond Hands, and if Diamond Hands can keep that macro pressure going.
I do feel like Diamond Hands can really kind of macro their way through Simplicity, but of course, Simplicity is ever evolving, and we'll see how they scale throughout the season. It's going to be a great matchup here today on Heroes CCL. Looking forward into our matchup here on Sunday, May 22nd, we're going to be having Oxygen Esports going up against Granite Gaming, and to close out the weekend, we'll see Wildheart Esports up against 30K. Justin, gotta get your thoughts on these 2 best-of-5s we'll be seeing.
Well, these are both good matches with some of the highest tier teams, highest rated teams, ranked teams in the standings we have right now. Wildheart versus 30K is absolutely the match to watch. They're both tied in that first place slot with that 2-0 lead from weeks 1 and 2. This could be a rematch of the finals. I know I've been saying that for a couple of these matches, but I think that I'm very confident that Wildheart and 30K will be 2 of the 4 teams in our top 4 by the end, just based off of what we've seen so far. They both seem to be absolute powerhouses of teams, so you absolutely will not want to miss Wildheart versus 30K.
I mean, absolutely, and that's the matchup I'm most excited about as well, because they also share exact same scores, as they do have the number 1 spot. They both are 2-0 and 6-1 on their map record, so it's going to be a very interesting matchup here on Heroes CCL. Thanks for joining Justing and I for the Week 3 pre-show. If you think we missed any clips from week number 2, by all means, leave a comment below or add us on Twitter. We encourage you to check out the other social media avenues for HeroesCCL content, like our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, and Twitch. We've been having so much fun talking about these CCL clips, and we'll be continuing to do this in the future. But until week number 4, I've been Bahamut, joined by Justing, and we'll see you in the Nexus.